From Citizen TV, this is the Monday Report with Trevor Ombija.
That's absolutely right. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let me be the first one to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I know it's quite early, but mapema and your best. Now, look, Article 10 of the Constitution prescribes our national values and principles of governance. And there are quite a number of them. Justice, integrity, transparency, human rights. But do we adhere to them as a country? That is a conversation we're having later on in the town hall session. This is supposed to be our guiding moral compass. But do we really stick to our national values and principles of governance? That is a question we'll be asking later on, and my panelists will be here with me. Dr. Purity Ngina, the CEO, National Gender and Equality Commission. Sheila Masinde, Executive Director, Transparency International Kenya, will also be here. Dr. Jacqueline Onyango, Senior Deputy Director, Basic Education Curriculum Development. Edward Nyongesa, Director, National Cohesion and Values and Canon. Evans Omolo, Provost, All Saints Cathedral. A cross-section of the audience, they say all sovereign power belongs to the people. So we will ask them, are we sticking to our national values and principles of governance or not? Send your views at Trevor Ombija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Citizen Monday Report. But before we get into all that, our top stories tonight.
Maandamano hayo ni haramu, hayaruhusiwi.
Tanzania on the edge. Government bans Independence Day protest planned for Tuesday and urges citizens to stay at home.
I saw weapons that I have never seen. I witnessed women going back and did not vote.
Violence and voter bribery. Heated exchanges at IBC meeting as observers and candidates recount harassment by hired goons during recent mini polls.
If we deviate from that and must borrow for something else, then surely Parliament must come and take charge.
Hunger, joblessness and strained healthcare. Major concerns for Kenyans highlighted in the People's Audit Report. Who killed Patience Mumbai? Embakasi police investigate defilement and murder of a young girl on Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Njoki Shege. So tonight we begin in Tanzania, where tension has escalated as President Samia Suluhu's administration outlawed planned demonstrations scheduled for Tuesday. The government says that the nationwide protests are illegal, raising the risk of clashes with Tanzanian authorities. Human rights groups have urged the government to protect citizens who may turn out, even as Tanzanians engage in mass panic shopping ahead of the protests following the stay-at-home order. Stephen Leto has the details.
On the eve of a planned nationwide demonstration, Tanzania is on the edge as opposition supporters gear up to protest President Samia Suluhu's administration on Independence Day. Streets of Dar es Salaam are swarmed with locals panic buying following the government's stay-at-home order ahead of the protests.
Nimewaita hapa kujaribu kutumia vyombo vyenu vya habari kuwaambia Watanzania maandamano hayo ni haramu, hayaruhusiwi.
Tanzania Prime Minister Mwigulu Nchemba, delivering President Suluhu's message on the eve of Independence Day, urged citizens to stay indoors and let's engage in essential duties.
Serikali inawashauri wananchi wote ambao tarehe 9 Disemba 2025 hawatakuwa na dharura kuitumia siku hiyo kwa mapumziko. Hivyo kusherehekea siku hiyo wakiwa nyumbani. Isipokuwa kwa wale ambao majukumu yao ya kazi yanawataka kuwepo katika vituo vyao vya kazi kama ambavyo wataelekezwa na viongozi wao.
Several activists leading the demonstrations in Tanzania have been arrested, sparking condemnation from human rights defenders across East Africa, who are calling on Suluhu's government to allow the protests to proceed peacefully.
Behind the facade of a poorly run election, Suluhu's regime has overthrown the constitution, weaponized state institutions to crush democratic demand, and engineered family rule.
Tanzania is confronting not just a political dispute, but a human rights catastrophe, rooted in systemic impunity, militarization, and an elite family rule.
Down with Samia, down.
Down.
Down with Samia, down.
Down.
Watanzania waungane wasiungane.
Waungane.
Watanzania wasimamie haki zao wasisimame.
Wasimame.
Human rights defenders who were speaking in Nairobi also accused Suluhu's government of abusing police power during past election protests, leading to several deaths. They are now urging restraint during Tuesday's demonstrations.
We demand the guarantees that the security services must act with restraint and within the law in protecting the fundamental rights and freedoms of citizens, especially at the time when state authority is weakened by legitimacy crisis.
Speaking from Mombasa, Vocal Africa, another lobby group, confirmed they will be monitoring the Tanzanian protest and observing how police handle participants.
As Kenyans and East Africans, we want to assure Tanzanians that we stand with them during this difficult time, and tomorrow we will be in solidarity, we will be with them in prayer and also in action.
While the majority of Tanzanians have chosen to remain indoors, reports from several border towns in Kenya indicate that numerous Tanzanians have crossed into Kenya over the past week, seeking refuge amid fears of potential clashes with authorities at home. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
A family from Rombo in Kajiado County is now seeking the government's intervention in tracing their kin who was allegedly detained by security officers in Tanzania. Margaret Kanai last made contact with her family in October, where she claimed that she had been arrested and went off raid after that. The appeal comes after Margaret's son reportedly broke out of prison in Tanzania, where he claims that scores of Kenyans are being held without trial. Loro Tieno with the details.
At Rombo village in Kajiado County, Moses and his brothers are in a frantic pursuit of their mother. The phones went cold just as the trail of Margaret Kanai faded into the chaos that engulfed Tanzania after the general elections. Margaret had traveled to Dar es Salaam to get stock for her retail shop. 5 weeks later, she has never been heard from.
Simu ya mwisho ambayo niliweza kuongea na mamangu katika mtandao, aliniambia maisha yake iko hatarini, maana anatafutwa na watu wasiojulikana. Wale waliokuwa karibu na yeye wakanipigia baadaye wakasema mama amekamatwa na tukate mawasiliano, maana wakijulikana wanawasiliana na Wakenya watakuwa mahali hatari sana.
Nilikuwa naomba serikali ya Kenya iende kasaidie inisaidie kumpata mama yangu, sijui mahali yupo, na pia wapo wa Kenya wengi sana ambao wanateseka sana kule Tanzania bila sababu.
Even so, Moses Kanai is also nursing physical wounds. He was working in Moshi town when the post-election chaos erupted. He alleges he was taken by security officers and was shuttled across various prisons where scores of Kenyans have been detained without trial and are being tortured behind bars.
Walikuwa wananipiga na rungu kwenye majoint huko mgongoni huko. Na pia walikuwa wananipiga teki kifuani. Na pia wananitishia kwamba watanifinya sehemu nyeti. Na wakaniambia ni nani amenituma. Ni akina nani amenituma. Nikawaambia mimi sisi nimekuja tu kufanya kazi.
In November, Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi confirmed the arrest of 11 Kenyans in Tanzania, 8 of whom had been released. However, the narrative by Kanai paints the possibility of more Kenyans still under detention in Tanzania. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
Now, election stakeholders are now demanding the immediate arrest and prosecution of goons who unleashed terror during the just concluded by-elections, with some candidates claiming that their lives remain in danger days after the chaos. Addressing a heated post-election review of the November 27th polls, the Inspector General of Police dismissed claims that the government collaborated with goons to rig the elections. As Emmanuel To reports, IBC chairperson Erastus Ethekon has also rejected allegations of vote rigging in the mini-poll.
It turned out to be a tense public lamentations forum
as candidates, observers and voters decried the terror meted on them by political goons before, during and after the November 27th polls. The candidates, winners and losers, narrating their ordeal as the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission took stock of the just concluded high-stakes election.
As I talk, after voting, I could not go home. After I was announced the winner, my family cannot access home. And we are here playing like, is it Gunism ni mchezo tu?
The political violence, I think IBC should take charge completely. They've got the rules and regulations governing the election.
The head of these goons are the police service. That is the truth. I have had incidences where I was accompanying my party leader in different incidences where the police are actually part of the goons.
The observers and the media also detailing how they were caught up in the grueling political contest, pointing to a grim picture in the 2027 general election.
I saw weapons that I have never seen, and as a woman, I am here to speak about women. I witnessed women going back and did not vote.
You always call on us to come and cover your events, but whenever there are political activities, we do so in fear. Because when going for that assignment, at the back of our minds, we know that we'll either be attacked by the police, the politicians, or the goons.
If 22 by-elections can have the effect that we had, especially in terms of malpractices, what do you think is going to happen in 1,882 polling areas or electoral areas in 2027?
The police, who are blamed for allegedly standing by goons who ran amok in polling stations, defending the officers for their conduct.
I don't know whether those goons have specific labels for the officers to know that these goons belongs to the government, these goons belongs to the other party.
As for the goons, as I have said, they have got no space here, and we are not going to allow, not under my watch. And I'm going to be very strong.
The electoral body also dismissing claims of rigging in the election, as has been advanced by the opposition.
To steal election in this country is an impossibility. These returning officers here can confirm to you, even observers, honest observers will tell you.
IBC now plans to build on the lessons learnt from the by-elections to prepare for the 2027 general election 20 months away. Emmanuel Toll, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
A new report by the Institute for Social Accountability, dubbed the People's Audit, has flagged hunger, joblessness and strained healthcare and education systems as critical areas that continue to suffer from little or no government funding. At the same event, Auditor General Nancy Gathungu pointed to poor governance, impunity and Parliament's failure to execute effective oversight as the root cause of Kenya's economic capture. Ayub Abdikadir has more.
Billed as a duel between the Constitution and corruption, the Okoa Uchumi Coalition raised alarm over the gross mismanagement of the country's coffers.
She's right on that very end.
Tracing what it termed original sins, highlighting the widening gap between political promises and economic reality, and expressing concern over the growing political stranglehold on state institutions.
Then we are also calling on Parliament to move very fast. Start with a motion and ensure that we stop securitizing our levies. Levies have been set up because they are a special purpose vehicle. If we deviate from that and must borrow for something else, then surely Parliament must come and take charge of that particular process.
There is need for supreme audit institutions such as the Office of the Auditor General of Kenya to engage citizens and civil society organizations in order to enhance audit impact and strengthen overall public accountability. After all, who gives the scorecard at the end of the year on how the budget has been implemented? It is a person who is directly impacted in their lives or in their livelihoods. So the citizens are the ones to give the scorecard.
Mtumishi ni kupimia ya ngapi?
The People's Audit by the Institute of Social Accountability cites the widening gap between tiny ultra-rich minority and a vast population living in abject poverty, a ballooning public debt, and the continued erosion of constitutional safeguards as key factors preventing the country from achieving its rightful economic potential. The congregation gave opposition voices a platform to challenge the plan to sell Safaricom shares, raising concerns over the lack of public participation.
The sale of the 15% stake GOK owns in Safaricom, part of the 35 you own as public. The current negotiation is giving Kenya a raw deal, and the consideration is an undervaluation. If there is no incompetence in the sale of the 15% GOK stake in Safaricom PLC, make the process competitive.
Come on, let's be factual. Why is it being hidden? Treasury mandarins did not know about this transaction until a few days ago. They did not know. It was structured elsewhere and presented to them. So we need to ask ourselves, why is Vodacom always interested in opaque, non-transparent transactions? Have you ever heard of Safaricom bidding for frequencies in this republic? They have never. Airtel bidded for their frequencies.
The united opposition also utilizing on the opportunity to fault the government over the socio-economic status of Kenyans.
Imagine it's about your health, about education, about the environment you work in, and about the things you care most about. It's about the state being able to implement the rights, basic needs that are in Article 43 of the Constitution.
The current regime, if that entrepreneurship and bottomish continues and is left unchecked, you cannot auction off to yourself what belongs to the people.
The launch of the People's Audit Report, which highlights how households are coping under squeezed budgets, comes just 2 weeks after an Oxfam report revealed widening disparities caused by decades of policy decisions that have excluded a majority of Kenyans from economic opportunities. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.
Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is pushing for legal reforms to strengthen its fight against graft. Through proposed amendments to the Anti-Corruption Laws Amendment Bill, the Commission seeks to fast-track corruption cases and bar convicted individuals from tendering for a period of 10 years. These reforms come as the Commission reports recovering assets worth 3.4 billion shillings in the last financial year. Brenda Wanga has more.
The EACC is basking in the glow of what they say is their most successful year yet. The recovery of 3.4 billion shillings worth of assets and the prevention of losses worth 16 billion shillings.
While we celebrate these successes, it must not be lost on us that the fight is far from over. Corruption remains a dynamic and persistent threat that adapts to our defenses.
The Commission is now seeking even more legal cover to strengthen their operations through an amendment to the Anti-Corruption Laws Bill of 2025. The Commission wants corruption cases to be concluded within 6 months. It also wants expanded investigative powers over mobile money and non-banking financial institutions, a 10-year tender ban for convicted persons, the creation of the offence of influence peddling, as well as better protection of whistleblowers. This as the debate around granting them prosecutorial powers rages.
Sometimes we have seen situations where the process, like our CEO has mentioned, through which cases are taken, sometimes do not meet the threshold that we expected. And so the push or the desire for the Commission to have prosecutorial powers is basically to inject some level of efficiency so that once cases are investigated, like we do with civil cases.
The Commission's reports showed that in the period under review, it had a staggering 838 cases under active investigations. At the forefront are bribery, embezzlement of public funds, unethical conduct, and the fraudulent acquisition usurpation of public property. Bribery in particular continues to be a prevalent issue. The EACC isn't just counting cases. They're actively pursuing high-impact investigations that cut across both national and county governments. In Mandera County, the EACC is probing a complex web of financial irregularities. This includes suspicious payments made by a former governor to 10 other companies and a former county speaker who is accused of awarding lucrative contracts to a company.
There is a file with the DPP, in fact 2 files on Marsabit County. There are 2 files we are just concluding, one on Mandera County and another one on Garissa. We also have started investigations in Isiolo County. So it is not that we are targeting specifically those counties.
Nationally, key state corporations like Kenya Leather, Kenha, KEMSA, KPLC and even the National Treasury are under intense scrutiny for massive procurement scandals running into billions of shillings. The active cases go beyond just money. The EACC is also tackling a widespread problem of integrity, investigating numerous government officials who allegedly used fake academic papers to secure employment, thereby defrauding taxpayers of millions of shillings in salaries and benefits. The bulk of these under investigations were employed by the Nairobi County Water and Sewerage Company and the IEBC.
It is very sad that even very senior people in government are operating under false documents, forged certificates. It is an embarrassment to our society. If you want academic qualifications, we have more than enough universities in this country.
Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has raised a red flag over the small number of youth who have so far turned up to either register as voters and those who voted during the just concluded by-elections. As Emmanuel Toh now reports, the youth and the IBC commissioners who attended the post-by-election conference today clashed over their involvement in the election process.
It was an election for the old, as the young, vibrant voters in the 2022 election register cleared to participate in the November 27th by-election gave the polls a wide berth. The IBC Stakeholder Engagement Forum on the just concluded election, lifting the lead on the serious voter apathy by the youth in the electoral processes.
In this election we have just presided over, it was really pathetic. Very few young people came out to vote. A large number of them were old people, and in Very North where I was, among the old people, the majority were even women.
Kindly, the young people, let us come out and register, and let us prepare to vote come 2027.
The forum turning into a duel between the commission and the youth as the clash of ideas between the old and the young played out.
Come to TikTok and tell us why we need to vote.
No, just for information, we are now on TikTok already. So.
Asante, but I've seen you have 1,000 followers only, and your content is a little bit very rigid. It's very formal.
You need to include us in that. We don't even know even hata kama sisi ndio wana discuss how they will eat us. We also have to hear what they are saying there.
The efforts by the commissioners to implore the youth to work with the commission's pace falling on deaf ears.
The 5%, you expect me 5% to go leave everything else I'm doing that I've been used to doing, do TikTok, do whatnot, so that...
I am astonished by our old mzee, and I respect elder members of the society. But you are bringing jokes here. You are in your political twilight. This is our future.
Heshima mwanzo, mengi yatafuata. Lakini ukija kwa kifua kwa sababu wewe ni kijana, hata hao wote hawakuzaliwa wazee.
Since September 29, when it kicked off the continuous voter registration drive, IBC has, by December 5th, only enlisted 148,315 new voters at an average of about 2,000 per day nationally. There have been 40,772 transfers, with 493 people changing their particulars. IEBC targets to register 6 million more voters by 2027, with about 70% making up the youth population. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
On to some sad news now. Detectives investigating the gruesome murder of 12-year-old Patience Mumbe have recovered CCTV footage that captured her last moments last Thursday in Pipeline before the discovery of a body 5 kilometers away in Car Estate, that's in Embakasi, on Saturday morning. In their pursuit for the killers, detectives on Monday visited their home where they questioned family members who last interacted with the grade 7 pupil before her disappearance. Gatete Njoroge has more.
In the busy streets of Pipeline Estate, these CCTV cameras installed at different shops within the area give clues to what could be Patience Mumbe's last moments before her death. Thursday at around 6:30 p.m., this CCTV captures Mumbe running from their home about 200 meters from this shop. She runs towards another road leading to Taj Mahal bus stage. The second CCTV captures her walking fast. At one point, she is captured checking behind if someone was following. She then rushes towards the bus stop. This was the last time Mumbe was seen in Pipeline. 2 days later, her lifeless body was found in a ditch 5 kilometers away in KAA Estate, about a kilometer from Embakasi Police Station and 200 meters from Embakasi School.
Kuna watu walikuwa wanacheza hapa ball ikaanguka hapa chini, kwenda kuchukua na mwili ya mtoto wa shule, mtoto wa grade 7. Sasa wakastua mawochi, sisi tukapata ripoti, tukakuja hapa haraka, nikaangalia mwili, sura so tukujua kama ni waemba ama si waemba, tukakimbia station. Alikuwa amefungwa miguu hapa hivi kwa tumbo, tena mikono na nyuma.
Tupate justice ya msichana because sisi kama wazazi tunaogopa pia juu hii ni shule, this is a primary school na wasichana wetu wanakuja hapa. So hata tumeogopa. Hatuwezi pia pita hii njia usiku juu tunaogopa ya security. Hakuna lights tangu barabara itengenezwe.
The shocking news of the murder has spread like bushfire in Pipeline. Residents say cases of children disappearance is not new in the area, but in most cases, they are found and reunited with their families.
Tumeshuhudia hizi visa za kupotea na watoto. Nikiwa mmoja wao, wangu alipotea juzi, lakini nimpata. Mungu ni mwema, lakini wangu ni mdogo, alifuata wengine akienda.
Hiyo kitu inabidi tuangaliwe sana, na maneno ya hiyo raping kuangalia ni wenye wanafanya hiyo mambo washughuliwe hatua.
Police in Embakasi have confirmed receiving 4 cases of missing children. In the last 1 month, detectives probing the case on Monday visited Mumbe's home where they questioned family members who last interacted with her. Apart from the recovery of the CCTV footage, detectives are also doing a site analysis by tracing vehicles and phones that were around the scene of crime on Saturday morning, hours before the discovery of the body. A post-mortem exercise to determine the cause of death is scheduled on Tuesday. Having recovered crucial CCTV footage that captured Patience Mumbe's last moments on Thursday, detectives are hopeful that the clips and phone communications near the crime scene will help them trail the suspects involved in the gruesome murder. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Pipeline, Nairobi.
All right, we're taking a quick break here on the Monday Report. When we come back, there's still a few more stories we need to run by, and then we'll get into a conversation on Article 10 of our Constitution, which is based on national values and principles of governance, quite a number of them: patriotism, unity, devolution of power, rule of law, democracy, human dignity, equity, social justice, transparency, all that. But where are we as a country? That is supposed to be the guiding moral compass. But are we adhering to any of them? That's the conversation we're having later on with the town hall here. You can see members of the audience are already there. Sovereignty belongs to the people. So we'll ask them the questions as well as the panelists who will also be joining us in just a short while. Thanks for staying with the Monday Report. Now, faith-based hospitals have expressed concern with the proposed Health Amendment Bill 2025. They say that the bill, which criminalizes the detention of patients and bodies by hospitals, is punitive and one that will cripple operations in the private health facilities. But as Mary Mwoki reports, the sponsor of the bill, Kirinyaga Woman Representative Njeri Maina, insists that the bill seeks to guarantee quality health care for the vulnerable.
The Health Amendment Bill 2024, sponsored by Kirinyaga Woman Representative, has kicked off a storm among healthcare providers in the country who raise concern that the bill is punitive and will affect the operations of the facilities. Section 3, subsection 4 and subsection 5 bars public health facilities from demanding deposits prior to providing emergency medical care and also criminalizes the detention of bodies while setting stiff fines for those convicted.
Patients will be coming. They can't pay out of pocket. You can't retain them. Then we will be faced with what we call a moral hazard. We risk that moral hazard, whereby people will take advantage of the existing, measure.
The proponent of the bill, Kirinyaga Woman Rep Njeri Maina, maintains the bill was necessary to cushion vulnerable Kenyans.
The hospital facilities just take advantage of the emotional turmoil and the African custom to lay our kin to rest and to find closure by interning their remains. But then dead body will never become property. It cannot be sold for profit.
For one patient that you are retaining or detaining, for that matter, you pay up to 2 million. That will kill all the hospitals in our ecosystem, within our actually FBO fraternity.
Maina insists the bill excludes private facilities and will only apply to public facilities, even though its wording targets all healthcare providers. Section 7, subsection 3 states that any medical institution that fails to provide emergency medical care commits an offence and is liable to a fine not exceeding 3 million shillings.
This particular bill, to a good extent, it affects FBOs, it affects the pure private facilities much more than the government facilities that at least have some funding from the exchequer.
Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.
Now, stakeholders from various sectors on Monday kicked off a 3-day national conference in Bungoma to discuss rising cases of technology-facilitated gender-based violence in Kenya. Experts warned that youth in institutions of higher learning account for 90% of offenders in the digital space, with female students being more vulnerable to online trolls and abuse compared to their male counterparts. As Crispin Otieno now reports, statistics also show that Kenya loses more than 1.2% of its gross domestic product to the economic impacts of GBV.
Mkewe mfinywi anamfinya mfinywi.
Days after Kenya joined the world in marking 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, stakeholders from ministries, civil society and youth groups converged at Kibabii University on Monday. They sought to sensitize students and the youthful population on how to fast-track the end of technology-facilitated gender-based violence in tertiary institutions. Led by the Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Salim Vuria, alongside the President's Special Advisor on Women's Rights, Harriet Chigai, the 3-day conference aims to mobilize youth and stakeholders to unite in tackling the vice.
Tutumie teknolojia kwa mambo mazuri. Tutumie teknolojia kueneza ukatili wa kijinsia ama ukatili wa namna yote ile.
It is reported that nearly 90% of young adults have witnessed technology-facilitated GBV, with 39% reported personal experience. The young women are twice more likely to face online harassment.
I hope so many people will come out and help us create awareness about this thing, because it takes the whole community to fight for the end.
Technology should be used not to create fear. Technology should be used
to amplify dignity.
If there's anybody who I don't even read, I don't go to social media because you can get blood pressure instantly and just die.
Crispino, TNO Citizen TV.
Kenya Bankers Association calls for further reduction of the central bank rate ahead of the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the year.
Tomorrow, The Explainer. Our language does all of this and more. The more the milk, the better the chai. Chai kweli in a Brookside Dairy Best.
So in 2016, it was the Queen's 90th birthday honours. Every year she does honours, and I got awarded for basically bridging the gap between the UK and Africa. But I always say that, you don't know who's watching you. You don't know the impact that you are doing. Sometimes you think that, you're in your own corner, you're doing your little thing, but you are impacting on somebody's life. And so, yeah, it was an honour to get it. It's been an amazing journey.
Watch this story and more. Download the Citizen Digital app or visit www.citizendigital.com and find the Citizen Originals portal.
Kenya's #1 app, Citizen Digital.
Tomorrow, The Explainer. Our language does all of this and more. The more the milk, the better the chai. Chai kweli in a Brookside Dairy Best.
So in 2016, it was the Queen's 90th birthday honours. Every year she does honours, and I got awarded for basically bridging the gap between the UK and Africa. But I always say that, you don't know who's watching you. You don't know the impact that you are doing. Sometimes you think that, you're in your own corner, you're doing your little thing, but you are impacting on somebody's life. And so, yeah, it was an honour to get it. It's been an amazing journey.
Watch this story and more. Download the Citizen Digital app or visit www.citizendigital.com and find the Citizen Originals portal.
Kenya's #1 app, Citizen Digital.
My acne has gone down, and now I have the confidence to wear makeup again. Because at Good Life, wananijali.
Teke na Wigo Boda. Chanua Jam, fika on time at the lowest charges in town. Wear helmet and ride in style. Ni safi, ni safe, na ni easy kwa mfuko yako. Wigo, your trusted ride. Download the app now. Ama SMS Wigo to 20425. You'll fike right on time. Wigo, your trusted ride.
Sometimes I need a fragrance to keep me calm, stays fresh in the heat and feels elegant into the night, lasting longer than expensive perfumes. New Downy, lavender calm, sunrise fresh and sweet elegance, freshness that inspires confidence.
Are you a Kenya government civil servant na uko na emergency? Usijibox kwa noma. Borrowing on MyMobi has never been easier. Simply register, apply, approve, and get your cash in minutes. Dial *531# and get up to 20,000 shillings to sort your emergency and pay from your next payslip. No paperwork, no drama. Ni wewe tu na simu yako. With MyMobi, now you're in control.
Royal Mabati Factory Limited has exclusive festive discounts. Deca roofing tiles at 500 a piece and steel trusses at 199 per kg. Enjoy free delivery anywhere in Kenya. Call 0722 638383 or order now at www.royalmabati.com.
Boresha mazao ya shamba lako na mbolea ya mavuno. Mchanganyiko wetu speshali wenye virutubishi 12 muhimu unaongeza rutuba ya mchanga, hurekebisha asidi na kusawazisha pH kwa mazao yenye afya. Tofauti na mbolea nyingine zinazochoma udongo wako, mavuno inafanya kazi na mchanga wako kudumu kwa muda mrefu na kwenye hali zote za hewa. Ili kupata mavuno mengi, chagua Mavuno. Imethibitishwa kuongeza mavuno kwa zaidi ya 30% wakati wa mvua fupi.
Dad, tap on Jumia app, order what you want, add to cart.
Punguza bei, weka simu ya 15,000.
Confirm. Plus, tunaweza rudisha within 7 days.
Kumbe ni rahisi hivyo.
Ai, ni Jumia bro.
Download Jumia app today.
The festive season is around the corner. House of Leather and Gifts has everything you might need to make this Christmas a perfect one. Thousands of Christmas decorations, trees, gift hampers, gifts for mom and dads, gifts for the kids and the entire family. And the best part is, our gifts suit everyone's pockets. Visit our branches now for a delightful shopping experience. You can also shop online at www.houseofleatherkenya.co.ke and have your goods delivered to you. House of Leather and Gifts, Kenya's #1 gift store. Over 50,000 different items at the guaranteed best prices in Kenya.
Looking for a reputable institution of higher learning? Enroll at Jordan College of Technology, Thika. We train marketable and skills-based courses in journalism, engineering, catering, food and beverage, hair and beauty, fashion and interior design, tourism, ICT, business, medical, short courses and driving. With fully equipped, cutting-edge facilities, affordable fees and exciting co-curricular activities, Jordan College is your best choice. Apply now for our January intake and train with the best. Visit us at our new ultra-modern campus, Jordan Towers, Thika Town. Jordan College of Technology, the leading TVET and medical institution in Kenya.
DSTV makes wherever you are the best plan for the holidays.
This festive season, get your DSTV decoder for only 850 Kenya shillings today. Business News, brought to you by Emirates.
The best holiday ever's finally over. When you fly Emirates, your holiday isn't over until your flight is over.
Welcome back. It's time now for some business news. In the country's banking sector is piling pressure on the central bank to further cut the benchmark lending rate ahead of Tuesday's Monetary Policy Committee meeting. In its latest research note, the Kenya Bankers Association says an additional reduction in the central bank rate, currently at 9.25%, is necessary to boost private sector lending and ultimately support growth economically. Now, the lobby points to easing global inflation and a steady exchange rate as indicators that the economy can absorb a rate cut. It argues that although economic activity has remained resilient, it is still fragile and lower lending rates could help unlock stronger credit flows to businesses. KBA further highlights a stable current account deficit and rising foreign exchange reserves as a sign of strengthening external sector. The Monetary Policy Committee meets for the last time this year on Tuesday to review the country's interest rates. So the Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperatives, KUSCO, has begun refunding money owed to SACCOs. The union says it paid out 132 million shillings in the year 2024 and a further 152.2 million shillings in the year 2025. Speaking in Mombasa during this year's annual Lenders Cooperative Summit, Cooperatives Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya and KUSCO Chairman David Mategwa said that the audit processes has been complete and the focus is now on recovering assets and refunding members. Mategua noted that 2 houses have already been sold at 8.5 million shillings each. CS Oparanya, who received the report on the transformation of the SACCO sector in Kenya, says implementation will take 5 years with a focus on protecting members from losing their savings through deposit protection and savings stabilization funds.
But you tell us about citizens that we want to bring into membership in a bank to make sure that
we must strengthen oversight institutions like SASRA. SASRA provides an oversight supervisor role within the financial sector. Secondly, we must protect members against their savings being eroded. And that's why we are coming up with the Post Protection Fund.
To come up with a certification program to support our country so that we're able to have foundations of ethical leadership and governance within our sector. At some point, Bwana Waziri, this program should be a must-have program for all the board members so that we can create a base, a foundation for good governance.
We are doing the recovery. Where people have defaulted, we have gone all the process of making sure that we recover the properties now and send them to auction. So we have started auctioning properties, and the money that we receive, we have started returning to the SACCOs. As we are talking now, we have already deposited those money to SACCOs on the accounts of the SACCOs.
So the Ministry of Tourism says that it is on track to hitting the 10% contribution to the country's gross domestic product. Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Rebecca Miano, says that the sector contributed more than 452 billion in 2024 and remains a major foreign exchange earner, supporting over 3 million jobs directly and indirectly. Speaking during the launch of the National Thematic Celebration, which is set to focus on the tourism sector, Miano noted that the sector recorded 5.1 million bed nights, a figure she termed conservative, noting it excludes Airbnbs and tented camps and other informal facilities, estimating that 2025 numbers could be over 6 million. Kenyans have also been lauded for their contribution to the sector as domestic tourists, with the Director General of the Kenya Wildlife Service, Erastus Kanga, noting that over 2.5 million Kenyans visit different parks across the country annually, generating critical revenues required to fund the government.
Significantly drives 10% of our GDP, associated with tourism earnings annually through visits to parks, reserves and conservancies and nature-based experiences. Madam CS, to bring it down to understandable numbers, what we are saying is that for every 100 shillings that you hold and you spend, 10 shillings is from tourism and wildlife sector. That is how simple the mathematics of our support to the government GDP can be seen.
We look forward to policy pronouncements that will anchor this sector, the tourism sector, towards the growth and towards the future. We have very robust and stretched targets of increasing our numbers, increasing our earnings, employments, and so on. And therefore, we really want to welcome everyone as we look forward even to the festive season. This is the best way to rehearse the upcoming festive season.
Standard Investment Bank has broken ground for its new 32-story headquarters in Westlands, marking a major milestone in its 30-year growth as one of Kenya's leading investment firms. The SIB International Center will anchor the bank's expanding operations, with founder and managing director James Wangunyu saying that the project represents a bold step toward the next generation of African investment banking. Now, the bank says that the new development reflects its confidence in Kenya's economic outlook and its plans to broaden access to modern investment opportunities.
Today, I've said 3 of them.
Our story has always been about people before profit. purpose before pride. We have built an institution anchored on various values of integrity, excellence, efficiency, teamwork, innovation, transparency, and many others that has also been for the client focus and centrality.
Now, Kenya has been billed as one of the leading tech hubs in Africa with the adoption of promising mobile connectivity and a vibrant startup scene. Now, this has seen tech enterprises springing up, with the latest being Vision Plus, the first Kenyan company to make TV sets locally. In our Made in Kenya segment, Edward Chua tells us how Vision Plus concepts have revolutionized technology in Kenya, making them the first technology company to be awarded the Made in Kenya mark by the government.
Demand for information and entertainment has seen more Kenyan homesteads acquiring television sets and other gadgets to keep up. This is the opportunity Umesh Bojwani saw and founded Vision Plus, a local technology company conceptualizing and making TV sets.
The idea came to life in 2016, late 2016, where I saw a gap in the market where average Kenyans used to have to save for more than 3 months to be able to afford a simple thing as a TV. We started off by doing TVs. We're doing audio in home audio segment with sound bars, portable speakers, as well as now we're into appliances.
Every stage of manufacturing is meticulous and monitored. It starts with the cabling, installing lights, testing, then into a special dust-free room where the screens are installed. The line moves to installing accessories like speakers, then testing, and into a dark room where the final TV set is tested. If passed, it goes to final checks and is packaged for the market. If faulty, the set is taken to a research and development room nearby for further checks.
We manufacture TVs from 32-inch all the way to 75-inch. Raw materials are sourced both from abroad as locally as well. We have an idea that we're working on in terms of how can we as a country have a product in our TVs where we can repel insects, for example. It's a Kenyan problem with a Kenyan solution. Our operating system, we try to customize it to see how user-friendly it is to our Kenyan liking. It has customized local content on the home screen that people can relate with within Kenya, content that we consume.
Umesh says the reception for Vision Plus TVs has been positive, and the recent recognition by the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency as the first Made in Kenya technology company has been a boost.
It's amazing to have received this mark from Caproba, but also the possibilities that it brings to prove that us as Kenyans, as entrepreneurs, we're able to do something different, we're able to challenge status quo, we're able to bring product, create product within our country good enough for local consumption as well as international consumption through our Pan-Africa hope of expansion.
Vision Plus is now home to over 70 employees, all trained here.
Back in 2022, we were a team of 11. Today, we're a team of 72. As soon as they come on board, we take them through a progress or it's an SOP. So for our particular TVs, what needs to be done. And we tailor it in a step-by-step process. So it's easy to understand and it's easy to implement.
I've been working here for around 3 months now. I do assemble remotes, also TV accessories such as wall mounts and other stands and screws. I've been able to gain new skills. Also, I've been able to venture outside my career. So I'd say it has helped me a lot in my life. I was motivated here because I wanted to challenge myself and also I wanted to gain more knowledge and new skills.
Umesh says the future for Vision Plus is to go into the international markets and make more products locally to serve the growing local market.
I see Vision Plus growing into a Pan-African brand, first by building a huge amount of impact locally, expanding from TVs to audio, which we intend on doing next year. And I see us now further exporting to different markets across the COMESA and Africa regions. And finally, I think that just building that circular economy is something that we're looking forward to over the next 3 to 5 years.
Edward Chweya, Made in Kenya, Citizen TV.
Time for some sporting action now. Mara Sugars climbed out of the relegation zone and into the 9th position in the Kenya Premier League after a hard-fought 1-0 win away to Mathare United, who dropped to the 10th position. Posta Rangers has also climbed to the 4th position in a 3-way tie on 19 points, together with Gor Mahia and Kakamega Homeboys, who occupy the 2nd and the 3rd positions. Posta piled up on the miseries of new kids on the block. Nairobi United, after blanking them 2-0 in the 2nd KPL match on Monday afternoon. Goals from Jackson Oduang and Brian Otieno in the first half were enough to hand Naiboys their 3rd loss in a row of all competitions. After 8 matches in the KPL, Naiboys are now 13th in the standings with 12 points, 8 points behind leaders Kenya Police FC, but with 2 games in hand. Naiboys next play Moranga Seal on Friday, while Posta Rangers will be away to AP's Bomet on the same day.
Kupiga pass kwenye net. Brown Otieno Chojo. He's on a form of his life.
Now, the leaderboard at the 2025 East African Safari Classic Rally changed once again after overnight leader Pius Daikin ran into headwinds and failed to finish the 2nd stage of the day. Daikins had a firm grip on the rally for 3 days, but the mantle has now been handed over to Baldev Chaga. Daikins had a smooth start in the 2nd stage of the day, but had to retire 15 kilometers into season 11, while Baldev had opened a commanding lead at the top, followed by Britain's Harry Hunt in 2nd, trailing the leader by 22 points, 12.9 seconds, while Evin Kirev is now 3rd. Jordan Sidiris from Greece and Belgium's Fred McClaw complete the top 5. The drivers have a rest day on Tuesday after 4 days of the grueling rally.
Very interesting day, to be honest. Stage 1 was probably the best stage I've had so far. Really enjoyed that. It's one of those where you just feel right and it just clicked. And so I believe we were quickest on that. Stage 2 was seriously tricky. Very twisty, very narrow, like lots of hairpins, lots of drops, lots of culverts, broken culverts, like broken concrete with like steel rebar sticking out of it, and it was quite hectic.
Kenyan boxers continue to grind out different results in a tough IBA World Boxing Championship in Dubai, that's in the UAE. Featherweight Paul Omondi sailed through to the round of 16 after a split points 4.3 decision win against Ahmed Al-Kaoum of Libya. Now, the biggest victory for the team so far is from light heavyweight Robert Okaka, who dominated his opponent from Tunisia to sail through to the big money bracket in the quarterfinals. Now, Okaka stopped Tunisian Youssef Rafrafi in the 3rd round after subjecting him to 3 standing counts in the 2nd round. Youssef kissed the canvas after a right-hand hook to the chin. Okaka has earned himself 1.2 million shillings and will now move up to the 10 million bracket if he wins his quarterfinal bout. Now, Paul Omondi and lightweight Washington Wandera will move into the money bracket if they win their round of 16 bouts later on tonight and tomorrow.
Didn't seek to press his advantage.
Now, 2 young Kenyan golfers have made history by qualifying for the Sunshine Tour and Sunshine Ladies Tour series next year after stellar performance in the Sunshine Development Tour East Africa Swing. Njoroge Kibugu and Naomi Wafula welcomed the first golfers from the East Africa region to earn full tour cards to a major professional golf tour. Njoroge made it through by winning 3 Sunshine Development Tour events this season at Thika Greens Golf Resort, Nyali Golf Club and Vet Lab Sports Club to finish top of the East Africa standings. Naomi Wafula earned her card to the Sunshine Ladies Tour after making the cut in 7 out of 8 tournaments. She is ranked 18th, the highest female player on the tour.
It means a lot to be the first Kenyan to secure a Sunshine Tour card. I'm forever grateful to Sunshine Tour and Sunshine Development Tour for giving us the opportunity. And yeah, I just can't wait to showcase my talent on the big stage.
That is so amazing. It's always been my dream to play on tour. And when I received this news, it was my first time ever to cry tears of joy.
So Kenyan runners were relegated to the second position in both the men and the women races at the 2025 Singapore Marathon on Sunday. Boniface Sikowo from Uganda won the men's race for the second consecutive time, while Shuko Genemo from Ethiopia won the women's race. On the men's side, Matthew Sempuru finished second in a slow time of 2 hours, 15 minutes and 46 seconds, 6 seconds behind the winner. Kenya's Wesley Kimeli finished third as Kenya occupied 5 positions in the top 8. On the women's side, Rhoda Tanui finished second in a time of 2 hours, 41 minutes and 33 seconds, 9 seconds behind the winner. Another Kenyan, Faith Chepkoech, finished third. The Singapore Marathon had the double-up challenge that allowed runners to participate in the half marathon on Saturday and also ran the full marathon on Sunday.
Yani, nashukuru nimekimbia hapa mara ya kwanza na nimechukua namba 2. Nashukuru Mungu, nashukuru Rais wa Kanisa kwa kutupea nafasi huu na tunatumaini tutakuja hapa next year.
Nilikuwa hapa last year December. Nikarudi this year. Nimekuja nikachukua namba 3, of which last year nilikuwa namba 6. Nimefurahia sana.
Sporting action is done. When we come back now, we're talking about Article 10 of the Constitution, national values and principles of governance. And my guests are already with me in the town hall session. So when we come back from the break, I'll be on the other side. We're talking about where we are at as a nation, patriotism, unity, devolution of power, rule of law, democracy, human dignity, equity, social justice, all that. It is actually outlined in Article 10 of the Constitution, national values and principles of governance. But do we adhere to any of them? Should we teach them in school? Do we teach them at home? Do we stick to any of them? Are we guided by the moral compass, which is Article 10 in the Constitution? That's the conversation we'll be having in just a short while on that town hall session. Right after the break, join me on the other side.
What do we stand for as a country? Tonight we discuss the importance of national values on the town hall.